Dear Twin Flame souls out there, welcome to the Twin Flame Awakening Journey podcast, and today is an episode 152. In today's episode, we are going to dive into the energy again, but this time we are going to talk about what happens if you are doing all the energy work. I know many of you have attended my energy sessions, my workshops, all of these kind of things. But then all of a sudden it starts feeling that your life is actually getting worse, that things are not moving, you're feeling stuck, you don't understand what is happening. You, in your own mind, you would be thinking, I'm doing everything right. They tell me that I have to do the energy work, I am doing it, but at the same time I'm feeling like nothing is happening. And I want to address this part because I try to be very careful of the feedback I'm sharing, because I don't want to make anyone to feel in a sense of that they are doing exactly the same thing and at the same time they don't have really results in the 3D, and at the same time another person has everything magically happening, or reversed as well. But today I want to address a little bit about this. What happens if there is a silence? What happens if you are crying constantly after the energy work? Or you feel very sad and you feel absolutely disconnected? And why this is actually a very important part. And another thing I want to touch upon today is about when you are in a high state of energy. I'd say everything is flowing in your life. You have reached to the point where synchronicities make sense to you, where you are in love, where you attract a lot of things in your life. And why during this time also focusing our energy is very important. And I bring this in just for the fact that we know that this, when you met your twin flame, you were activated in an energy that we cannot really describe, but everything from there on changed in your life. You changed. You started to see things that you never experienced in your life before. You felt the love and felt that you have arrived home, and you've never felt this before in your lifetime. And so today's episode I'm going to dive into. I know that many of you can feel a little bit tired of me talking about the energy all the time. And it sounds much easier to tap into that, what my so-called divine masculine energy is doing, what they are feeling, what is happening to them. Let me figure them out and let me shape myself to them, or something like this. And what is this about energy? I don't understand. Nothing is changing. Nothing is happening. What is the whole point of this at all? I just want this person. But I'm going to really tell you here, this concept, what we're talking about, twin flames and the twin flame awakening, and this person came to open your heart and feel that divine connection, feel the love, the union within, and all these things you can hear online, where you hear about or read about that it is a union within. There is no separation. It is feeling that divine love within you, and from there on everything expands. In today's episode I'm also going to read about one of the email from my soul brother, who is very dear to me, and I think his energy also made me to come to this island, even though he's no longer here. And I think many of you have felt this way, but I want to bring you the perspective of understanding when it feels worse. Let's say you're feeling like you're crying that you never cried before, you're feeling that a lot of things are falling apart in your life. That shows that you are about to get into alignment, because everything that was there before is a disturbance for new to arrive. So I'll dive into that. And as we know, and I always repeat that because repetition is the key, as we know, because at the deepest level of twin flame journey, it is not about chasing, waiting, or even knowing what your twin flame is doing. It is about the vibration. And that's one of the reasons why I do the energetic workshops, why I work with energies. And just I'm going to say you, everything that I do, I practice. So if it works for me in the sense of, and I can show you that from being me. Because I will not tell you something just like, let's say, I'm not going to tell you about ayahuasca, for example, because I haven't done it. Do I have anything against it? Absolutely not. But I am not an expert, or I'm not the one who is practicing it or using it. So I'm not going to push you anything that I so-called don't know. But it doesn't mean it's right and wrong. What I mean over all of these things is that you are very, very powerful, and you are very powerful on Twin Flame Journey. But I know in the beginning and in between, it can be very hard. And we have two ways of thinking. Let's say you're doing all the work and you feel it's getting worse and worse and you stop. Or then it's the opposite. Your energy goes really high. You're feeling your union. You're feeling everything is magical. And then you stop too, because you already got what you wanted. But the same way, like we take a shower, or we brush our teeth, or we nourish our body. My question would be here, how much time do you spend with your energy? How much do you check in within your energy? Is it 10 minutes a day, or 15 minutes a day, or 5 or 2? But can you imagine that this is actually your whole essence, and it needs to be taken care of because you are the master. And on Twin Flame Journey, that's what your twin is going to come and teach you, to become the master of your own energy. And as we know, everything is energy. Everything is frequency. The way your twin flame shows up in your life, the connection between you, the silence, the triggers, even the breakthroughs. And all of this is a reflection of the frequency you are holding. But we know also another thing. When your frequency changes and shifts, the outcome is different. So for example, if today you are in a need and lack and waiting, but let's say 3 months from here on, you are in a union and alignment, the outcome will be completely different. So why does it sometimes feel like you're doing all the inner work, but it is getting only worse? Why is it like this? Why you feel that your twin flame is actually going further away and nothing is shifting? So that's what we're going to explore today. So what happens when you do all the work, but you don't see the change? And this is actually one of the most common, yet I feel that we do not get to talk about in the awakening stages. Because what we hear in the awakening stages often is like, oh, you're going to feel magnificent. You're going to feel so many beautiful things. You're going to feel the love. You're going to feel the connection. You're going to see the world like you never seen before. But we also don't see that when we are committing to the practices, like meditations, energy work, Kundalini activations, breath work, Reiki, yoga itself, anything that helps you to connect with your soul. I am not here to tell you that how you should be doing things. I'm here to tell you, find a way to connect with your essence. However you're going to connect, you'll find a way. But find a way to connect to your essence. We know that if you would like to see the breakthrough of your journey, of your life, of who you really are, then it comes connecting to your essence. Because your essence, your soul, took this avatar, what you're living. The body is just a vessel. And it's actually not just a vessel. It's one of the most important, things. Can I say things? On this human element. Because without that flesh, we could not touch, we could not see, we could not hold each other. Hear, dance, all of these kind of things. So it is important to take care of this too. So when we are committing, the first thing that can happen actually is not always a bliss. And actually it's often the opposite. And that's what I see a lot in the healing practices, and when we are doing it, that we can feel divine. We can have that moment of, wow, I felt love, I felt union, I felt so much happening. And then you do it next time, and you can have a situation where you cry uncontrollably, where you feel completely lost. You don't know what is happening. You're losing the trust. So why? Why is this spiritually happening in this journey? Because these practices will stir up everything that has been buried inside of you. And remember, your body remembers everything. Your nervous system remembers everything. Your nervous system is in your body. It's connected to your energetic field, your aura, your everything. That's why I say nothing will change on this journey if you don't shift and change. And the cleaning up, the purging, the cleanse is as important as the bliss and the love. And both of them are meaning that you need to continue. So it feels very easy to say that, oh, I will give up. It doesn't work. Nothing is there. It's the time. Why? Because all the old wounds, suppressed emotions, unconscious patterns, everything will start to come on the surface. And we often think about why people don't go into the healing. That's one of the reasons. Because we need to face them. We really need to sit down with them. And it can feel like the whole life is falling apart. It really can feel. And it's even when you had your dark night of the soul from the first part. Then you step into the energy work and it continues and you feel this is disaster. This is the worst thing ever. So when the things feel very heavy, the mind will start telling you, it's not working, so why I keep going? And that's actually the most dangerous moment to quit. Because the practice is like spiritual medicine, what we can call, or spiritual way of connecting, and we are very powerful. I'm not here to hype up something. I'm not here to convince anybody. I'm just here to bring the clarity when you feel, wow, it's getting much worse. That's also one of the things on my workshops. I've made them on Patreon, in that sense, accessible for everyone. I don't believe in a certain ways that we need to keep things for ourselves and only for the special amount of people can afford and access to it. Oh, talking about affording and accessing. I know that Twin Flame Journey can really break apart a lot of your lives, your finances, your way of living. And what I love about our community the most, this beautiful soul, because another day I just mentioned that I had the souls coming to me and to my awareness, and I had to email to them one day and say, hey, I offer you the session because I know that you need that, because your soul is coming to ask for it. And then she said the same thing. Please let me know if anyone of you needs the session, because I know how powerful they are and how they can change and how lonely this journey can be. So anyhow, actually, whoever needs a session, in that sense, there's a one called free session to give away. But I really would like to put this out for the person who is really struggling and cannot afford it. So, yeah, just let me know. And then this other beautiful soul is offering this. That's why I say also on a Patreon, it is absolutely, I if I'm not wrong, it's $5.99 a month, which I think it's a cost of a coffee. And you can change and shift. So that's why I don't believe in general of that we cannot access. And sometimes it just takes for us to come and be present, even when it's the hardest time. So what happens is why is it so dangerous? Because when we start that process, we're starting to rewire the nervous system. Your nervous system is electric field with you. And we lift your frequency. And even when you cannot feel it, it's still working behind. Because sometimes you can be in a session and you feel like nothing really happened. And then a week later, all of a sudden your body starts to purge it. Because it just waits for the moment for you to surrender, for you to relax. Because when we are in a fight and flight, it's not going to work. So if you stop in the middle of the purge, it's a little bit like you're walking out of the surgery halfway. Like literally that you have a surgery and in the middle of the surgery you would say, I don't want to feel this anymore. I don't want to be here. I'm scared. I need to go. But the pain doesn't go away. It actually stays unresolved. And when you start again later, you will start actually from the deeper wound, because now you open that and then you run away from it. And this is open there. And it gets bigger and bigger. And that's why on this part, when we feel like nothing is happening, literally nothing is happening, we need to connect to the trust. So how does the universe and frequency work now? So the universe does not respond to our words. Words are very powerful. Or our plans or our outer actions. It only responds to frequency. So meaning of, for example, you are going to use the affirmation, I am beautiful, I am rich, I am love, I am this. It does work to a certain level. But now if your nervous system and you do not connect to that energy, nothing will happen. That's why, in a sense of when people talk about manifestation, it doesn't work when your frequency doesn't change. Our frequency is the vibration we hold through the emotions, thoughts, and energy field. Einstein said the same thing. Everything happens in your energetic field. It's the field that creates the outcome. And on Twin Flame Journey, it's a very important part, because I hear you often saying to me, I don't see the point of this. My twin flame is with somebody else. I want my twin flame to come back to me. I will not be happy if I don't have my twin flame. And while I had the same thoughts and same feelings, and I totally understand you, and I'm not saying that you're doing something wrong, not at all. It's a very confusing journey. But when your life will start depending on outside, everything that happens outside, and that's what we can call so-called matrix, you are forever controlled by the matrix. Whatever happens outside will affect you. So when we are in fear, neediness, attachment, the universe will mirror back to us through delay, resistance, or situations that will keep us stuck and in the loop. But when we hold peace, love, we have a trust, life flows very, very differently. And this is why the inner work is so much more important than doing more externally. And one of the biggest mistakes I can see on Twin Flame Journey, where we start feeling that I need to change myself to fit into that person's eyes. But don't you remember that your twin flame came to your life to show you who you really are from the essence, not to become somebody else, not to do because of somebody else. It's because of you. And that's where the trust and peace and everything will fall away. I know when you're listening to this podcast, your mind wanders about what they feel, what happens to them, why they don't come back. And my energy talk can be already like, yeah, enough, doesn't matter. But just open the ears for a moment and connect to that. So why does this silence happen? When you do all the work, but there is more silence than ever before. Silence is not the punishment, it is the integration. And you know, when we do also in our workshops, I say we go into the silence now. We just surrender into that. And some of you panic during this time because silence feels scary. Silence is where is the truth. And if we are not used to listening ourselves, silence can be extremely scary. And so the same thing starts to happen on twin flame journey. Let's say your twin flame told you something, and I did the same thing, because I don't think I had any worth for myself, because my understanding of worth was everything outside. I think I didn't see myself at all. And so for me, it was all about performance, making sure I will get another goal, I will another achievement, I would be the top of the top until I cannot breathe anymore. That was my understanding of love. And when I had to listen to myself, who I am, I was what is the truth? The same thing, my twin could have told me something and I couldn't believe it. I literally couldn't believe. If someone would have told me a nice words, let's say you look beautiful or you have this or that, I could not believe it. It sounds absolutely crazy. And then my mind would look for more and more and more and more, and this dopamine hit, but I couldn't believe it. So when things go quiet, whether in our twin flame connection, manifestations, or in the meditations, it is because the energy we have been now working on is reorganizing it. So do we understand this? Silence means that something is happening. You know, there's the saying also, silence before the storm. Silence is very powerful. Silence is where we make this happen. So that's why I always say, why Kundalini activation also is very powerful, because we use their sound, but we also use the silence at the same time, because you go deeper and deeper and deeper. So think of this a little bit like planting a seed. You don't see the growth immediately, but under the soil, everything is already happening. And when you now lose the trust and you say nothing is happening, this is not true, this is not real, this is not, then how do you expect something to happen? The universe is very smart of using the silence to strip away the addiction to external validation. Why do we talk about the ego death? Death of the ego. Because ego is what is living for the external validation. I am this, I have this, I can do this, I look like this, I am all of that. And it's going to show us that there's true stability, that you have the trust, you have the knowing, you have the intuition. And don't get me wrong here. Me, I have spiraled the exact same way like you, exact same way. But now I have the awareness. So when I don't know the answer and I start spiraling around something, or I feel something and I cannot make sense of it, but then I'm like, I know what to do now. And I'm going to go sit down with myself, whether I do the Kriya, whether I have the activation, I do inner dance, whatever is there. But I have my answer after that. So why does it take time now? Let's talk about the time. Because in time, in the human sense, is linear. We know that we measure the time this to this. But energy does not move like a straight line. Energy is not linear at all. It spirals. So we often need the cycles of breakdown, emptiness, and persistence before the new frequency can anchor into our system. And we need to understand it has to be part of our field, our system. So that's why practices like meditations, Kundalini, let's say activations, Reiki, all of these things are not instant fixes, because they rewire our nervous system, clear karmic patterns, they shift our consciousness. And that takes time because of our body, mind, and soul are learning to live in the new vibration. You shift literally the vibration, but if you don't shift the vibration, nothing's going to happen. And that's why sometimes after the activations, when you've been with me or with somebody else or been on the workshops, you can cry uncontrollably. You can sleep that you never slept before. And that's one of the things with often when we work with energies. It puts us to sleep. We are, as a humanity right now, we are so much on a fight and flight. And we keep on looping the same thing over and over again. So what I'm trying to tell you is trust the silence. Even if you feel nothing is happening, the universe is already rearranging. And you see that in the reflection. This is not something I am making it up. But I also want to talk about what happens in a sense of when we are in a good state. Because that's another important part to remember. So when we are in a high vibration, now you feel like, wow, I feel joy, I feel gratitude, I feel peace, I feel love, I feel that inner union. Now I know, B, what you're talking about. I get it. And the energy in your body starts to expand and flow freely, and you just think of something and it happens. Your twin is back in your life, or you meet amazing people, you feel love in everything. And at the physical level, what I'm trying to tell you is your nervous system relaxes. That's why I say the fight and flight is not a good energy to be in. Your heart rate becomes coherent, and that's what Joe Dispenza talks a lot about. Your brain and heart to be in a coherence in order to manifest. And guys, when the heart rhythm becomes coherent, our brain waves shift into harmony. And our cells, our body cells literally responds to hold more light, love, connection, everything in there, everything. And in an energetic level, of course, when we talk about the chakras, your chakras are opening, your aura strengthens. We talked about the aura in our last workshop. The workshop is out actually on Patreon or anybody. The first kriya that actually you would do that will make you look younger. You don't have to trust me. You don't have to believe me. I don't force anything. I always say, try and see what happens. Will people notice your glow? And who doesn't want it? Because there is a very strong, and this is not, none of these workshops are me just waking up one day and saying, oh, what a good idea. I do follow my heart a lot because I channel the energy through me and I follow the heart. But also all of these things, what we do, are science-based actually. They're not me, mumbo jumbo, another healing here and there. Look, your twin flame is coming back to your life. I know how to do that. That has never ever been my intention, and I know why. Your twin flame will come back to your life. There is no doubt in that. But when it comes from the fear, insecurity, abandonment, all of that, you just, whole your life will live in a fight and flight situation where you're trying to fit in for somebody else, where you lose the spark in your own eyes. And there is nothing more beautiful. There is nothing more beautiful, at least for me. Seeing the spark in their eyes, seeing how the person is glowing, seeing how the person is at peace with themselves. And there is not only the reason for yourself, it will radiate. And so when the aura strengthens, and we talk about this on the workshop on Patreon, that there's an app called Aurala, Aurla, and you can check your aura. You can send it to me. I love seeing it because some of you are doing the before meditation, after the meditation, or before the workshop and after the workshop, and you see the difference over there. So it's interesting to see for yourself as well how your frequency is, what your frequency is telling you. I'm also going to say don't take everything always as a truth. You have some tools that will help you, but find the truth within. But when we radiate these frequencies, we start to interact with the quantum field. And quantum field is the fastest way to manifest, to change, to shift. And this is why you will see people will come to you and say, wow, you are absolutely glowing. You see why the synchronicity starts to happen around you. And you are not forcing anything any longer. Your own frequency is acting like a true magnet. And I'm talking about it so much. When you are in alignment, you are a magnet of everything. And I know we are living in a world right now, extreme loneliness. And that's why also the twin flame awakenings are happening. To bring us back to the union, to bring us back to the love, to bring us back to the oneness and community. We are more lonely than we have ever been, I believe. Yes, we have all the devices, we have all of the things, but we are so disconnected of who we really are. And that love that your twin flame showed you is the one that's going to bring you back. And that's how you start having people, opportunities, everything to match that vibration. And in a sense of a spiritual level, high vibration is the one that creates the alignment. Why don't I talk about the alignment? It is your vibration. Instead of like being, you don't know, you are like in between of fear or trust or doubt or faith. You don't know which one, fear or trust, doubt or faith. Should I trust, should I not? When we become our higher self, in that sense, your guidance will start flowing so naturally. I know that for some people it might be very hard to be with me sometimes. My assistant, for example, she has sometimes very hard times. She says, hey B, could you please? But me, I'm just flowing now. Because until that awakening, I was a child, I was a teenager, I was the one who was constantly worried, constantly preparing everything. My nervous system, I believe, was completely messed up. That's why my awakening was also very brutal. It was very, very brutal awakening. For some of us, it's easier. For some of us, it's harder. For me, like you said, I always say, I don't know how I'm alive today. Because what happened in my system, in my energetic system, in my body, everything, I still cannot really describe that because it felt like a true death. And now when people can see me and they'll be like, wow, I wish to be you. You seem to be in such a better place. You are in a state of glow. I look at them and I say, if I got here, you'll get there too. But it really required an enormous reset for me. And when we talk about the energy and frequency and all of these kind of things on Twin Flame Journey, and I know many of you will be like, I'm so tired of this. I rather have my dopamine hit of what my twin is feeling, what is happening. And I'm not here to say that you shouldn't be doing it. But what breaks my heart when I see a very broken souls arrive to me and I see that they can only barely breathe. And then we start. But it's just why I say that don't do that to yourself. Please. Get the spark back into your eyes. So the inner knowings will become. You will know everything. The universe will talk to you. You have a trust. You know everything. And it's not because now the universe is all of a sudden like, I'll give you more. Because in that high vibration, we are finally able to receive what always been around you, but now you're receiving it. You are receiving it. So that's why the manifestations, why all of these things happen much faster, why you start attracting love much faster. People, compliments, people come to you, everything starts to happen much faster. It's because when you are in fear, the energy is like contracted, it cannot move. But when you are in a joy, gratitude, and now again, you don't get into that joy and gratitude by just saying, I am happy, I am thankful. It works for a while, but work with your energy. Feel it from your heart. And the most beautiful part, in my perspective of this part of the when you are in a high state, is that when your vibration is high, it doesn't just affect you. And that's the most beautiful, exciting. And it will affect your twin too. And I just find it's the most beautiful thing to witness. Because when you uplift, everyone you encounter will uplift. Your family, friends, strangers, everybody. Your vibration is the medicine of the world. So please, if you haven't been yet there, now it's the time. Don't think of when your twin will awaken, how they will awaken, what they will do, how I'm going to be for them. Think of it, how I'm going to be for myself, how I'm going to feel that love within me. Because I know that universe will reward you with that. So that's why I say that when we are in a good, high radiant state, and now our mind can think, or we are starting to think, my life is good now. I don't need to keep doing these practices. I don't need to. Why? I feel so good. Everything is flowing. But this is actually where you start building the momentum. The more consistently you maintain to practice in your highs. That's why I say it doesn't have to that you come to the healing sessions when you are feeling the low. I sometimes go to sound healing or breath work when I'm ecstatic. I'm so happy. I feel love with everything. I tell you, if you see me walking on the streets, if you would be my neighbor, you would think she's a complete nutcase. And I think in certain ways I am. Because I talk to myself. If I feel, I talk to the flowers. I get lost. And it's like, I tell you, for some people it can be very difficult to be with me. As I get lost. But this is, because one of another thing is here. And I get this often, why challenges are happening. Why this is going to happen in your life. If you are in such a high state, why these things are going to happen. So even when we have our so-called blissful highs and we feel so connected, we feel so much love, life will bring us new lessons. We are here to learn. We are here to transform. We are here to give. We are here to serve. And there was another day, I tell you, I attract people I don't even speak to. I was in my gym another day. And there was this woman. I've never seen her before. And I go and change my clothes and she's right next to me. And she looks at me and says, do you know that I'm in this world to share my gifts now? There was no hello, how are you? I am this. These were literally her first words she told me. And I closed my eyes and I said, of course, of course. That's what people talk to me. They reflect back to me the words, the actions, everything. But life will give us challenges. Life will put us into the places. But when you have felt the high, the connection, you are more grounded for the next stage of knowing what to do. We are not going to be here on this earth just like nothing's going to challenge us. Nothing's going to happen. We know challenges are opportunities for growth. And same way, your twin flame opened your heart for the full love, for you to serve the world whichever way you're going to serve it, to open up your possibilities of who you really are. You are given a gift. And that's why we need to work on our energy. So now I'm going to go into the story of a beautiful soul of mine who is very dear to me. And I'm going to just talk about it because I think many of you have felt this way, had similar ones, and similar experiences. Because I feel when you share some of the stories with me, and I like to use them on my podcast, so feel free to share your stories with me, twinflameawakeningjourney.com. So we go in. Hey, my love. I was considering whether I should write an email or not, since us two already have so much direct communication spiritually that words are unnecessary. Him, and another beautiful soul, we were all practicing. There was this interesting thing another day that we were practicing while I was pregnant every morning Kundalini yoga together. And on the last day, when I gave birth at 6 o'clock in the morning, we had the practice. And so another day I had just an interesting synchronicity again, that it was him and another beautiful soul who I called as the first people, because we had 6 a.m. and I gave birth at around 3. I didn't call my mom. I didn't call to anybody. I called to the Kundalini group. And because they were with me the whole time, every morning. And then another day I was taking a shower and I was thinking of these two. I said, well, these two souls were the first ones that came to know. And then a minute later, I received a message from the other soul saying, oh, I would like to book a session with you, so on. And I said, this is just crazy. I was just thinking of you, how you were the first ones. So that's why I say I'm very connected with all of you very beautifully, and the love, what I feel from you and the connection, it just, I'm so thankful. And I think the fact that now we are so connected and you are all so beautiful. You're just so beautiful, every one of you. When I looked at you, when I see the soul, when I see, I'm like, thank God that you are here. Anyways, let's go from here. And I also said about it that the episodes 148, 149, 50, 51, and this one are all actually one. They are like sequence of one another. But seeing this title of yesterday's podcast and the fact that 333 has my special angel number throughout the journey, my twin's insurance card he once gave me, and he even has this number, so convinced me to do so. So the last week have been very rough. I kept re-listening your episode about the gray area, the emptiness phase of the journey, and it was a very big comfort for me. Everything was going so good until the end of June, and suddenly, as if someone switched off the radio and there was no music anymore. My twin flame texted me that he is feeling very overwhelmed, and the only option for us is not to have any contact anymore. I somehow took it surprisingly good, even though I have already booked the tickets to Valencia to surprise him on his birthday, that is beginning of July. I still ended up going alone to Valencia. I let him know I was there, and he stayed by his decisions of no contact. It was one of the most beautiful trips of my life. I laughed, I cried, I healed, and I felt so much oneness within me that it didn't matter for me if we met or not. And of course, surprisingly, after a lot of weird coincidences, I ended up seeing him on his run while I was riding on the tourist bus. How symbolic with the running. And you are just now riding on a bus. Things started feeling off after the portal was open, end of July, and I couldn't understand why. I will read from here and I explain about the portal. Even though I kept doing all my practices mindfully and consistently, I felt so off balance. The moment I would finish my meditations or my Kundalini yoga, it was as if I didn't do anything at all. But I kept persisting, trusting that the shift is around the corner, showing up for myself, and I think that was the most important lesson. And I love that. This is something very important. There are going to be lows. There are going to be a moment. And why? Because when the portal is there. When the portal is open, and for me, and I don't ask again, for me there are two things. It's the 808, the Lionsgate portal. It happens before and after. Portals are not open one day. And then it's the Shivaratri. Because of that, to balancing our feminine and masculine energies within to come to the union. Shivaratri is now this upcoming year, end of February. Hopefully, we'll have our retreat in Bali for that. Again, I'm going to say that if any one of you want to join us for Bali, put yourself in the waiting list and you will be the first ones who will receive. I'm in touch with the Bali places. So as soon as I have the information, you'll be the first ones. Because with Cyprus retreat, as we know, it was sold out very quickly. I'd say don't wait until the last moment. Feeling these energies, connecting to it. And also meeting others. But I want to tell you about the portals. Often when there is a portal, before or after you feel absolutely lost. So now talking about telling to him and my other soul of how our spiritual baby was born, think of the same way. You, as a mother, I am the portal, I am the channel. I'm the only one who can bring the life into this world through the portal. So think of this yourself. When the portal is open, you're going through the portal and you come out from the other side. You were just right now in a bubble of something and you come into the other energies. How does the babies normally look? They look confused. They don't understand anything what's happening. And that's what happens when we go through the energetic portals. There's a moment where we feel, I've done it all. I've grown, I've changed, I'm all of this, and now I'm here floating and don't understand anything. But again, like you came to this earth to have that experience, when we go through the energetic portals, it's very similar, and it doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. And here is another thing, and sometimes we need to slow down. While practices are important, and it's everyday part of my life, also what is important sometimes is to slow down. So sometimes my morning meditation is just an hour of sitting in stillness. No. And another time, I'll do the full kriyas, for example. I like inner dance a lot because inner dance reminds us to go back to this stillness, oneness. So just to say, you're not doing anything wrong when the portal opens and you feel lost. And I love how he said that it was that I keep persisting, trusting, and then knowing that the shift is around the corner. After the second activation on Friday, day 808, like the Lionsgate, as we know, we had most probably one of the biggest energetic upgrade because we had, I think, 15 or 20 facilitators that joined. He started posting, the twin started posting on Instagram. Even though he's not much of an active user, and he even posted stories with another guy. Again, I took it very easily, knowing that he needs to have his journey and his experiences. But what I couldn't understand is why I would feel so awful the whole time. I getting downloads from him. I'm sorry, I'm scared, I don't know what to do. And I cannot play with your heart the whole time. And so yesterday, I finally decided to deactivate my Instagram. And afterwards, I had a self-activation using your beautiful playlist. I finished it, and it felt as something has shifted. I also received the answer that I had to deactivate the Instagram, not for me, but from him. Just to say, for me, it was very sad when his Instagram was deactivated because I loved seeing his hearts to me and always being so kind to me. But now you're back, so thank you for being back. So that he goes within and not waste his energy, aiming to get the reaction from me. And that gave me so much peace. And I know that many of you have heard about it when they say, remove your twin from the social media, detox yourself from it. And I agree with this at this level. When it takes that every time you see something and you're out of alignment, like this, every action they do has a power over your inner peace and love, then it's the best thing to do. And also, here's another thing he just mentioned. When his twin is going through the things, you most probably are going to feel it. And that can also make it very confusing. But you are also the facilitator. And we need to let it happen. So I had to deactivate my Instagram. So not for me, but for him. So that he goes within and not to waste his energy, aiming to get the reaction from me. And that gave me so much peace. And here is where the magic happens. Last night, out of nowhere, I found 10 euros on my bed. And today I come to work and I hear a noise while moving and I check my pocket and I find 60 euros. And I have absolutely no idea how it ended up in there. I believe the abundance kriya I practiced daily last week is starting to work. Yes, I tell you, there was this another beautiful Greek soul of mine. She's absolutely gorgeous. And she came to me when we practiced the Jupiter Kriya, because we do once a month Jupiter Kriya practice. Everybody is always more welcome. They're out on Patreon. You can try them on your own. Come do collectively. I love when we come collectively together. And she said to me that the last time she did the Jupiter Kriya with us, she ordered food twice on that day and she didn't pay a single time. Because the delivery said, no, that's from us. So just come and see these things. Shifts, they happen gradually. It's not that you do it today and tomorrow it's going to happen. Can. I'm not going to say it cannot. But when you connect to energy field and you're ready to purge, that's why when you feel awful, it doesn't mean that nothing is working. It's a time of the purification. I wish somehow I would have kept the podcast. I was not able to talk really on that time. But I wish I could have kept the podcast on the times where I was absolutely broken. That broken that, I tell you, I was a ghost. And I know when you're hearing this today, your mind cannot grasp upon. But I was a ghost. But then, step by step, I step into the world of energies. And everything started to shift. To tell you also, heart chakra opening is one of the scariest openings of your lifetime. Because it really feels like a death. Because many of us are closing our hearts from the very young age. Whatever reason is there, everybody has their own story and own journey. And once it opens, it's going to stop for a while. And then it resets. But you're going to feel the magic at one point. So I finish up. My heart feels lighter and I managed to find many moments of connection with myself and life again. And I'm forever grateful for your support, encouragement, and love. I have absolutely no idea how this journey is going to unfold, but I know how loved and guided I am the whole time, and that is enough. Love you with all my heart. I am very happy. In that sense, I'm very happy because the souls I have in my life now. You are a true bliss and blessing, and even though I know that you might be going through and wondering why my twin doesn't love me, why my twin chose somebody else, why I can't find the inner peace, why I feel my life is falling apart, why I don't, let's say I have issues with my finances, or I have issues with attracting nice people in my life, or I feel everything is constantly against me. I know that if you are coming from the place of I'm ready to let go of all of that, I'm ready now, you will shift and change. I've spoken about myself in the previously of where I'm coming from, what it is there, and of course the book I wrote, which is not published. There you get to know details of everything, and that will be one day out there to understand that I know where it comes from. But I also know that you can shift and change that, but you will never ever shift and change that journey when you're focusing what they do. You will just have another disappointment, expectation, disappointment, one after another. But you are here to feel the love. You are here to feel the most beautiful relationship. You are here to be you. So yeah, thank you for my soul brother of sharing his story with me. And if you have anything you want to share or ask, of course, twinflameawakeningjourney.com. We will, or email twinflameawakeningjourney@gmail.com, whichever way. All the contacts are over there. So I'm gonna just quickly go through of saying, those who wish to join for the Bali or the Italy retreat next year. Next year, I think we are aiming for 3 retreats. So be in the waiting list on the website. You can be there. That it helps us to know who is coming, what would be the best option to offer. Because all of this, my life is based on the energy. I look at your energy, I see the connection, and then I will think, what is the next thing to do? On Patreon, we'll meet again on the 28th of September on Sunday. We'll have 2 sessions that pretty much the whole world can join, and we'll focus again on the heart. It will be a little bit lighter than we had it last time, but the last time workshop is out on Patreon, and you can do that anytime, any place on your own. So even if you cannot join the live sessions. For any one of you who feel like, now it's my time for the upgrade of my energy, or I need to know what is my energy doing over or through channeling, through all of these things, or you just want to talk about your journey, believe me, there is so much power of talking it out. It's like another day, a man who came to the call with me and he said, it's like I've lived my life all the time in a false and now I know what people who cannot, let's say, express their love to someone, or even people who they have to live in a false identity, how hard it is. So anyways, talking about it, sharing about it, letting it out from you is very powerful, but don't forget to work on the energy at the same time. Whichever thing you do, it doesn't have to be with me at all. I tell you, the guides, the spirits, the help is on your way. I'm just a reminder. But if you wish, twinflameawakeningjourney.com, everything is there, and I am always so happy to connect with you. And of course, thank you for supporting on Patreon, or any support is more than welcome, always, because I feel connected to you then. All right, my loves. Thank you for listening. I hope you got some kind of an insight today, something that sparked inside of you. And lots of love, lots of light, and I see you soon.
I wanted to escape for a while. Thought that a couple of drinks could ease my mind. I've been thinking of you for 2 weeks straight. I know that I need to get myself back in the game. Someone said your name had a turn around. Suddenly you're there standing in the crowd. Everything comes back in the blink of an eye. It's like you're mine, you're still mine. They skip the small talk, cause you know me better than I know myself. Oh, mine's been a while now since I saw you, but it feels like yesterday somehow. Time has stopped, nothing's changed, we're the same. And we skip the small talk, cause you know me, yeah, you know me like nobody else. I wanted to and it's like you're mine, you're still mine. We skip the small talk, cause you know me better than I know myself. Oh, mine's been a while now since I saw you, but it feels like yesterday somehow. Time has stopped, nothing's changed, we're the same. And we skip the small talk, cause you know me, yeah, you know me like nobody else. Skip the small talk. It's been a while now. Skip the small talk. It's been a while now. Skip the small talk, cause you know me better than I know myself. Oh, mine's been a while now since I saw you, but it feels like yesterday.